Hi everyone. All good? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So for some of you, maybe today you celebrate Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all of you. as you may see, I just hide the 70s old lady. I think that from now on I will be like this every day. So let's go to the topic for today and to explain the importance of this day. For sure, for many of you, today is an important day because you have a tradition of Christianity. And for Christians, Jesus, the prophet for some religions, and the Savior, the Messiah for some other religions, was born a day like today. But it's not like this in history. The reason is because something different. So the day today, December 25th, is not related to the birth of Christ, of Jesus. Is related with the solstice, the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, which was December 21st. So remember that this week, what we celebrate is the moment that when the sun stays for 3 days in the same spot and then starts to move back again towards the north. So remember that the planet, we divide it in the equator, and northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere will be always the opposite in these seasons. So for the northern hemisphere, when we have the summer, in the southern is winter. When we have spring in the north, is autumn in the south. So they will be always the opposite. This movement of the planet that brings the four seasons is divided in 4 stages of 3 months each. So we have the 4 seasons with 3 months, so the 12 months total, which is the solar year. This is what we call the crucifixion of time, okay, which is equinoxes and solstice. So remember that equinoxes means that there is like a kind of balance in the planet. So both places are equal in the axis. So autumn and spring, they are like this balance that we have. Remember that equinox comes from the word aequus, that means to be equal. Okay, so that's the balance. So the other line, which is the solstice, winter and summer, means the moment when the sun stays. So sun stays is solstice, yes, in Latin. So that's why we call it like this, the 2 solstices, okay? So this is what we call the crucifixion of time. The solstice and equinoxes represents the 4 cycles, which is the crucifixion. And this crucifixion is the one that represents the 4 perceptions of the sun, not the earth. Because from our point of view, living in the earth, we look at the sun like if it is moving, but the sun is not moving, basically. So it's us, the earth, who is moving. So that's why we perceive that the sun is moving from different positions in the horizon. So the solstices and the equinoxes are related to the sun. This is the symbol that is crucified, okay? So this cross in the past was designed like a cross and a circle in the center representing the sun. So the 4 positions of the sun along the year. What is the solstice? The solstice is that moment when the sun stays. And how the sun can stay? Well, the Earth is moving. Imagine that this part of here is the north of the planet. So imagine that the planet is moving like this, constantly in these positions. Okay, so the sun is always in the same spot. Yes, it's here. So when the Earth moves like this, it seems like the sun is going to the south. And when it goes like this, it seems like the sun is going to the north. Okay? So in this movement, like this, we perceive that the sun is moving through the horizon. But the planet needs 3 days to go back to move into the other position. So those 3 days is like if the sun stays in the same spot in the horizon. That's why we call it the solstice. So from the point of view of the northern hemisphere, what we have here is that the sun, the 21st of December, is in the south, because the Earth is like this, is moving this way. Okay, so it's pointing to the south. So when the 21st of December is the longest night for the northern hemisphere, the longest night, because it's the moment when the sun is pointing to in the south. Okay, so that's why it seems like it is very long night. So when the Earth starts to move back, yes, it stays like this for 3 days. So the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of December, the Earth will be like still until it comes back again. And the day it starts to move again towards the south, so the sun seems to move towards the north, is the 25th of December. So today, for the northern hemisphere, begins the moment in which the sun is coming back. And that's why we call it the resurrection of the sun. So, for example, for the south, will be exactly the opposite. So the solstice of winter will be in June 21st. So in June 21st is when in the southern hemisphere we have this perception that the sun is coming back. In the southern hemisphere, we are celebrating this day, the 25th of December, because all of the countries that are in the southern hemisphere, we have been colonies from countries in the northern hemisphere. So we took the tradition. But for us in the south, we should have we should celebrate this in June, 21st of June or 25th of June, not in December, because for the southern hemisphere, the 25th of December would represent the moment in which the sun starts to go away. So to begin the autumn in 3 months, and that would be dying, like going to the death, is the opposite to celebrating the birth, the resurrection. In the northern hemisphere, all the cultures that lived in the tribes, the cultures of Europe, the native cultures of Asia, northern Asia, and North America, they celebrate the 25th of December as a moment of resurrection because of the sun. So if God is the sun, if the sun is God in the skies, so whoever comes to rule the world from the sun would be representing the king or the queen of God on earth. So in order to be accepted as a son of God, what they have to do is to rebirth, to have a resurrection, a rebirth in the 25th of December. That's why so many gods and important people from the past was chosen to be born, no, was chosen to rebirth in their lives as a spiritual being the 25th of December. All these people from the past, they were related to this movement of the sun, and the goal that they have was to move this wheel of the 4 equinoxial solstices in order to change, to transform the reality. So their goal was to allow the world to be transformed every year, so we are not stuck in one only season. Okay, so what they represented is to transformation. So that's why the symbol of the cross, the symbol of the circle, the symbol of the swastika, they were all symbols that represented the seasons and connected to those masters and gods on earth. So what do we celebrate December 25th? We celebrate that the sun is coming back to the northern hemisphere. Just now, as a detail of this story, when the Christian traditions came to Europe from the Middle East, they started to mix with the traditions of the north, the Celtic traditions, the Celtic people, the Vikings, the Saxon people. So all these traditions were Vikings, and the Vikings had as the main god Odin, Wotan. Odin was this god from the north, from the ice, in Lapland, that he accomplished to go into this tree of life that they call Yggdrasil, and from Yggdrasil it took the runes that are the symbols of the knowledge, like in the Christian tradition. So they took this information, he took this information to give it as a gift for the new life, the 25th December, to give it as a gift for humans. Okay, so in the tradition, this big guy with the long beard, dressed with blue, okay, he would come from the north, from the ice, from the North Pole, to bring this information under the tree. So that's the gift of the holy tree. Okay, so when the Christianity and the Nordic traditions mixed each other, they created this tradition of celebrating Christmas under the tree with this fat guy that comes from the north and gives gifts below a tree. So that's kind of why people believe in Santa Claus. The Nordic traditions, if you go to Russia or to the Nordic countries, you will see that Santa Claus is blue. It's dressed with blue because he was like this. And I guess that there was a campaign of Coca-Cola in the 20s or 30s, I don't know, that they changed it into red just for marketing. And we bought it. So that's why Santa is red. But all the traditions for today are related with the sun that starts to come back again to the north. So if you were thinking about not celebrating Christmas anymore, maybe you can celebrate the solstice. And by celebrating the solstice, you're celebrating all the traditions from the Northern Hemisphere. And that's it. So, important thing. Now, let's separate the concept of Jesus and the Christ. Yes, Jesus was not born this day, 25th December. Jesus, I don't know when he was born. Maybe April, I don't know. I have no idea about that. But something is for sure, that he became Christ at December 25th. Why? Because Jesus is like some other person, like many others that came to do something to the earth. But the 25th of December is the day that represents the Christ. So they have to be reborn in the Christ energy the 25th December? Because this day represents that the sun is bringing down the information of the new king or ruler of the world. That's what the tradition used to say, because the sun is coming back. So the kingdom of the sun is coming back. That's why they take this idea of becoming Christ the 25th December. So it doesn't matter really when Jesus was born. The really important thing is what he did when he became Christ. Okay, it's not about when he was born, unless you are an astrologer and curious person. But it doesn't really matter. It's not the point. The point is when he, as many others, took that information to become Christ. So all these traditions of today came from Europe. And why Europe? Because Europe is the heart of the planet. Europe is basically beating the energy. So that's why along history, Europe is the one that absorbed the information and energy from the outside and push it into the outside again. So it's beating. Tum, 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 tum. Okay. So that's why the information from Europe, the information from Europe is the one that created all the information of our cultures today around the globalization. So as we did yesterday, let's take away the idea of the countries of Europe and let's think just of the territory, okay, the continent of Europe. What we have today, this globalization, this the languages that we speak, the connection that we have today, the technologies that we accomplished to get, the philosophies, the republics, all the ideas that we have today as a globalized civilization that basically create what we are now, are all made in Europe, are all made basically in the concepts of the European way of thinking. The whole world has kind of this resentment with the heart of the world, the heart. And it's very difficult. That's why the world is like it is, because we have pain with the heart, because the heart, instead of just loving, the heart wanted to basically to conquer. So now think it in a different way. If we are the world and Europe is the heart of the world, our body is the world, so our heart is a fractal of Europe. If we look into Europe, on the heart of Europe, and we see the history of Europe, everything that happened, now try to think in this question: how do you love in your life? How is your relationship with love? Because sometimes it's easier to judge continents or countries when we are not paying attention on how I myself love and use the heart. So why Europe is not in the axis and is not being able to love unconditionally in history? Basically because we humans cannot love unconditionally. We don't know how to do it. So now think about your relationships with your loved ones, your loving ones, with your family, with your partners, with your friends, with all the people that you know, And how do you relate with them? Are you jealous? Do you want to control their lives? Are you waiting something for them? Are you expecting something from the other ones? Just think about the way in which you love. So this links bounds of dependence with others. Like, we need the other. I need to be loved. Okay, so I'm conditioned by the love of the other ones. In the planet, we call that colonialism. For example, when I am saying to the other ones, like to the countries, you are an imperialist. This is imperialism, you know? So imperialism is to put your power over the others. So when you are saying this is imperialism, it comes from the word imperare, imper, that means to put your power on others. So when you are trying to put your idea upon others, it's also imperialism. Imperative. This is why we have to understand that all the things that we see that happens in a great scale is because they happen in a tiny scale. The reason why this body, this physical body exists is because a tiny proton, electron, and neutron got together. So now think, in a whole world, how many dad, mom, and kid exist? There is no world without these families. So when we speak about the countries, we are just speaking about the projections of this region, this continent, which is just the result of these tiny particles that pulses. So Europe is the heart of the planet, but not because the heart is something beautiful. It's because the heart beats, boom, 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 boom. And that's what Europe does. And if this heart is willing to control the others, it's because this heart had never learned how to love. How can you teach to a heart that is trying to control how to love again, how to be in balance? The only way to do that is by love, not by judging. So the way in which we can connect again is by remembering. Remembering means to put all the members together again, all the different parts. But it comes from another word, which is all the information is recorded. Recorded. And record means come back to the heart. So all the records of our history, we can only heal all of them if we come back to the heart. That's record. Record is in Latin, which is come back to the heart. So that's why every person in the world is connected somehow with the history of Europe. The only way we can come back to the original pulse to create a new one is if we come back to the heart with love. This is why, for example, in 2014, we did this trip to the Vatican, because from the Vatican, the information of the religion spread to the whole world. So from the whole world, we brought that information to the Vatican again with love. So we can start to heal the history. Because we are not earning anything by hating those who we consider our enemies. So the reason why we should not attack our enemies, as we were taught to do that, and we have to bring love to the origin of those spots, is because everyone in this world is part of the same body. We are all cells of the same body. So if we attack each other, what we are just doing is cells killing themselves. And that's like, for example, like an immunological disease, like AIDS or cancer, different cells eating each other. So that's a disease. And the body dies anyway. So it doesn't matter who won, because they were right, because the body dies anyway. Okay? This is why to come back to the heart is to bring all the history that we inherit from Europe and bring it back to Europe with love, so we can create a new heartbeat. So from now on, feel Europe in your heart. Let's go to the information for today. The vibration for today is Thi. The statement for today is, I am the axis of heaven. The code for today is the color gray. In the unification of the purest light with the most absolute void, the white and black are found in the extremes, projecting shadows that tonificate the gray color. The darkness of white and the coloration of black. This color marks the balance between light and shadows, acknowledging that they are the same thing, simply wavelengths that vibrate between energy and matter. Sit comfortable. Focus in your breathing. I perceive that I am surrounded by a light blue color in between the white and the blue. I recognize that with my body I represent the whole animal kingdom within me. And in this path of acknowledging, I share this wisdom with all this kingdom where I belong. I perceive that this light blue color, the celestial, is around the atmosphere of the planet surrounding me, and that this light is not coming from the skies towards the earth, but shining from the earth towards the skies, is us who shining bright as celestial. I observe below me the flight of the eagle over the wise old man, the holy cow, and the white buffalo that contains the continent of North America. And to the north, I observe a wide island, Greenland. I breathe its fresh air. As I fly over Greenland, I see in front a circular island, Iceland, the crown of Europe. And I start to feel within me how I become the European continent. Take a deep breath. As I breathe, I recognize in my face Portugal. As in all my head, I feel Spain. In the spine, on my neck, I feel the highest mountains of the Pyrenees. I feel France in my chest. And in my heart, Switzerland, the heart of Europe. From the heart of Switzerland, I extend my arms, feeling in my left arm, Italy, holding in its hand the Holy Trinity of Sicily. In the other hand, the right arm, I feel England, and in the hand, Scotland, holding the pigeon of peace, which is Ireland. I feel the digestive system in the stomach with Germany. Austria, Hungary, Slovakia. I feel the womb in Czech Republic. And I feel the belly of this pregnant woman in Poland. I feel the kidneys and adrenal in Croatia, Slovenia. The reproductive organs in the old Yugoslavia. And I feel my legs through the Balkans and the feet in Greece, as in the other side, the Carpathos till Ukraine and Crimea in my feet. Take a deep breath, feeling the humanity being born through Denmark, delivering this life to the dragon in Scandinavia, extending its wings until the Ural Mountains in Russia. Take a deep breath and start to breathe faster and deeper as you feel the heartbeat of every human on earth. Start to breathe, feeling the heartbeat of your entire body until you feel the heartbeat of every human in every corner of the world. I am the heart. I am the Mother Europe. I am the heart of the world. I am the heart, and the heart is the axis of the world. I am the axis of heavens. I am the axis of heaven. I am the axis of heaven. And in every heartbeat, heaven comes to earth, and earth goes to heaven. I am every heart, for I am love. Take a deep breath and bring your hands to your heart. Feel your heartbeat and start to bring it towards all your body, feeling Europe in your heart, caressing, stretching, yawning, and coming back here and now. Welcome to the heart. Happy resurrection of the sun. Thank you for being there. See you tomorrow at the same time, as always.